Okay, let's go. We got a video on a Wednesday night. It's Wednesday night in Japan. It's a holiday, and I'm doing a video. This is the Simgot EW300 series. There's 3 of them. There's the standard edition, which is the silver one. By the way, if you are a subscriber, go ahead and comment. I just sent out the EM10. Everybody on Patreon got sent stuff. I got to fix something because 2 people got the wrong thing, and I got to work on that. But everybody's gotten their stuff except for the LM and the fat frequency. But everybody else has, so we're back in the game. If you are a subscriber, comment below this video, and I'm going to send somebody who comments below this the DSP version. And it's the set that I'm going to recommend the most out of the 3, including my own collaboration. But I will be more specific with that. I don't feel any bad kind of way about it. I'm glad that Simgot listened. I want you to look at something. This is the LM in purple, and that is the EW300 with the DSP cable. Let me go ahead and just go with the silver one, which is the green one. And all of these 300 series have gotten away from the intense plateau treble that a lot of Simgots have. Great drivers, sounds great, tons of detail, but can really get on people very quickly. It was a complaint repeated by a lot of people. I spoke with Simgot a lot. I think Tone Deaf Monk spoke with them as well directly and said essentially the same as me, and that was maintaining a decent bass, not too much bleed, but a decent bass, and balancing that out with a little bit less energy at 4, 5, and 6 would really go a long way towards pulling in more people. And if people want that energy, there's already several sets out there. Expand your bass and listen to the feedback of people saying that 4, 5, 6 is just too much for me. And they did it, as you can see, with both of these 2 sets right here. So that is the LM. I'm also going to pull up the EA500, which had a big issue with rolling on the bass, which made the treble sound more forward, which it actually literally was. Now I'm going to go ahead and take it down. So you're looking at a representation of, how about the EA1000? Let me put that up. And you can see that that is essentially the same as so the EA1000 was loved a lot, and the LM, and this is lined up at 500. They have significantly more. We're talking like 5 dB at 5 kilohertz. That's an enormous amount of energy that they've just gouged out with really all of these sets. Let me take that out, and let me go ahead and take that out. This is the new Simgot for this series anyway. This is a lot like the Camper, which I put up earlier, and then I had to take that video down because I made a mistake. This has more energy, but a lot of people said that the Camper needs it. I'm not comparing this in technical ability, but the tuning and the general tonality is quite similar actually. So it's a very mature type of tuning that Simgot has chosen to go with. You're welcome. After lots and lots of back and forth talking about how you don't need to think that you're letting go of your core audience by trying something new, because they've literally got those options to buy already, and you can go back to that if you want. Why not try to do something a little more maybe friendly for people that don't find what you're doing friendly to this point? So the 300 and the DSP are the 2 that I'm going to talk about the most. The one that I'm going to focus on in this video, I'm going to tell you, before I sat down and did this video, I was thinking how I'm going to do it, because my collaboration is amongst the 3. Am I going to start with that and then end the video saying that after all is said and done, to keep credibility, I'm going to go ahead and wreck the DSP, because it's my set plus a DSP cable is pretty much what that is, because when it's not using a DSP and a 3.5, it's a lot like my collab. Instead of waiting till the last 5 minutes, because some people don't watch to the end of videos, most of you don't, just put this right up front, and it's not a big deal. It's the DSP that wins the award. It's really the best that Simgot's done to date. I didn't think it was going to come out right when mine came out, but I think it is what it is. Now let's talk about music. In the low end, Big Boy Kill Jill, a triple drop. The lowest is at 38 hertz. It's got significant energy. It sounds like it's supposed to. It sounds This set will play hip hop fine. As we get into a 4 and 5 string bass guitars, the pulls, the plucks, the releases, the snapping, and the ringing of the strings, the bass guitar exists all across the spectrum. It is not only limited to the bass labeled area of a graphic. 96% of it, as I say again and again, is actually outside and beyond 300 hertz, counting every hertz individually, as one would do. Every hertz matters. The bass guitar sounds great. The ringing is good. The bassist does sound like he's stepping forward when the production seems like it's... When a bassist does a solo, a lot of times what they do on the deck is they actually kind of push up the volume of the instrument as he steps forward on the stage, or the vice versa. They record it and produce it that way, and the bassist steps forward, and usually in the production it's doing the same thing because he plays louder at certain points, because that's when a bassist is doing the solo. This captures that in Sultans of Swing very well, when the bassist is really supposed to be pinning it down and kind of stepping forward to your ear. He actually does that. Please Do Not Go does the same thing. It does the bass guitar excellent. John Bonham's iconic kick drum from the 4th album by Led Zeppelin sounds fantastic. Very, very good. Where we really start to see the difference with this set compared to prior Simgots is when we get into vocals. Lane Staley, Chris Cornell, Nina doing the cover of Heart of Glass by Blondie. The harmonics of vocals really come about at around 1.5K. Male and females are not really very far in there where they're crossing over into, because they're human vocals. It's a little bit different. Also, men go a little bit deeper, but it's not that much. So a lot of 1.5 and beyond, which is really the ear gain and the plateau area of a lot of tunings, is harmonics for vocals. And if that's too much boosted up, it sounds like you're kind of being yelled at in a way, or it sounds like an intense vocal presentation. It takes your focus even when you don't think it's supposed to in regular listen. In this tuning, it sounds very nice and normal, and it's similar in its tonality to something like the graph would indicate, the Camper, which I'll put again just for the heck of it because I talk about it all the time as being my number one. Graphs won't tell you much. The more that we talk about graphs and the further along we get, the more we realize, and there's a whole group of people trying to say that they're telling us more if we look deeper, and I push against that. There's really not much you're going to get from graphs except for general tonality, and a lot of times graphs imply things that don't come out to the ear, like the bass is going to be dominant because it's got more bass, but it doesn't really sound like that to the ear because it's got a micro driver, but it graphs like it's got a lot of bass. So there's tons of stuff. Even tonality can be skewed by the drivers that are being used within. These are using regular 10 millimeter drivers, so the Camper, which is using balanced armatures, is unusual in how much force it has. The EW300s all have the power that graph matching my target would imply. Potent. The energy that is usually presented by Simgot in the... Let me go ahead and put up the LM again. You see the pink. That's a lot of energy that's being put towards vocals. That now let me cross over into harmonics and overtones basically as we get into really 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This whole area is vocal harmonics. It's guitars. It doesn't matter if it's acoustic or electric. Distortion pedals can add some intensity to that. Cymbals, both rides and crashes can... We're talking at 5K, a difference 69 versus 63. It's 5 to 6 dB different at 5 kilohertz on the new version of Simgot versus the old. Still sounds technically excellent, but it's not in your face. Now let me take down the LM again. So the way that it treats cymbals and the way that it treats the ringing of the strings of a bass guitar, the way that it treats a keyboard or piano sounds a lot more like a Camper than what was that set, the Gaia by Elise. Who released the Gaia? Was that, I forget, I think that was Elysian, but that was like just a screamer. Let me see if I can bring that up. Excuse me. That is the Gaia. Boom, there you go. Wow, that is a forward presentation. That is That is why a lot of people find that set to be particularly intense. That graph does reflect what I hear. That was not something that I found to be appealing. That is literally taking part of the vocals and pushing it onto your lap. This stuff comes from playing with EQ. Do you remember Viper for Android days? What was that website? Joe Bloggs, who works for Hibby and a couple other companies, was really deep into that. When you play with this ear gain area and you push that much energy, vocals are going to come up really loud and really hard and be present all the time. This area here, beyond that, is more influencing the intensity of cymbals seeming to live milliseconds too long. So it does bass great. It does the drop. It does the kick drum. It does the bass guitar. Vocals sound better than any prior Simgots because there's no intensity there. There's a little bit more meat on male vocals when it sounds like it should be, but it's not warming up female vocals too much. We get into overtones, the harmonics. It's not splashing in your face or in your ears across your eardrums in a way that you feel like this is going to be an awesome 30-minute listen type of thing. This is more of a all day long, take it with you type of thing. So, summarize. I did a collab. I didn't know they were going to release. I knew that the other one was coming out, which is the EW300, which is a good set also. Let me keep it. If I wasn't involved with this and I was ranking these three sets, I would rank them in this order. I would say that the DSP is the best. I would buy that. I'd say that the second best would be the regular EW300 because they did something different with that pink nozzle than with my collab. And then I would put mine in third. And you can check graphs, and I think that would reflect that accurately. And I would add again, what I think they did is they took my collab and then they took away the 3.5 and added a DSP cable. So you essentially get my collab with the DSP if you use the 3.5 cable, because it doesn't come with the 3.5. But if you decide to go DSP, you get an alternate tuning to what is my collab with the best tuning that Simgot has done to date. Let me take that out. Let me take the very well done 300 and then just leave that there. That's really brilliant. That is nice. They did that well. That bass is sub-bass, mid-bass, mids, the ear gain, the whole thing. Brilliant. Yeah, so if you're thinking, let's go ahead and look at this now. Prices. This is Simgot EW300 on Linsol. Standard version is $70. The HBB edition is $75. And the DSP is $79. Okay, $69. 75 and $79. So I guess they're adding $4 over the collab for the DSP cable. I suppose that makes sense. I'm wrecking the $79 set DSP because I love DSP cables. The Crin with the DSP, that set, I love it better with DSP. The DSP Tianstrom 1, I think, the little driver, I love that set. That sounded dope. I don't know what it is about the digital signal processing that I'm finding appealing because I'm not an EQ person, but I think it sounds dope. So I'd grab that. Very good job by Simgot. I hope that you balance your audience and pull new people in with this type of tuning. Maybe a couple others, and then do what you did last year to become very popular, and then start to weigh out over the course of next year which one is pulling in more profit, or maybe just offer two. Fat Frequency has a Maestro series, a musician series. Simgot, if you're listening, which I know you are, you could take the EW300 and sets tuned like it and put it in a series like the Simgot musical series or something like that to signify that this is something that's got a little bit more low end and a little bit less intensity. And then you could also have a Origin series, for example, or something like that, which would be what made you popular in the first place. Nice quality premium shells, high quality drivers, and a tuning that made you guys the most popular company according to commenters last year. An event that could never happen in this hobby from that one forward, because people now would see it and flood it with bots and spam. But it was the first time. There's nothing like the first time. I'll let you guys go because I'm rambling now. Have a happy Wednesday. Very good job. I just rubbed the mic. Sorry. And I'm out.